it's Amanda here from Lolli Lulu Crafts, and today we are going to be doing the third card in our Acetate series. And originally I was thinking that I would do a shaker card for this third one, but I decided that I'd done shaker cards before on this channel, and therefore it would be easy enough to go back and have a look at that, and I wanted to try and do something a bit different with the acetate to perhaps what we'd seen before. So I've got some great stamps here from Personal Impressions. These are some lovely fairy stamps, and I've got a selection here of them because I want different bits of different stamp sets, so we'll sort that out as and when we need to stamp. Because we're stamping on acetate, I will be using my StazOn, and the StazOn is what you need to really get it to stick and stay stuck on your acetate. So we've got that there. So I've taken some white basil cardstock and I have cut it to 11.5 by 5 3/4, and then I'm going to score it down at 5 3/4 as well, to make a 5 3/4 square card. Now essentially this is a 6 by 6 card, but I'm just taking it down slightly because last time I made a 6 by 6 card my envelope seemed a little tight, and I think the ones that I've got are not, they are perfect 6 by 6, rather than a lot of envelopes you get and they're just marginally bigger. They're made for a 6 by 6 card or whatever size card it is, so they marginally make them bigger. These are a perfect 6 by 6, which means that I haven't really got the room for that extra manoeuvre, you know, for that extra sort of dimension if I do it perfectly 6 by 6. So I thought the easiest thing would be to cut this down just slightly smaller to make it 5 3/4 square. So that's what we've got. Okay, then I've got a piece of acetate. This is one of the spare pieces that we had, and this I've cut to approximately 5 and oh, what was it? Is it 5? Yeah, approximately 5 inches square. Okay, so now I need to create my window in my card. Now in order to do that I'm going to be using my Sizzix and my Sizzix dies. So I've got my Sizzix machine here, and I've got some square Sizzix dies, and the one I want to get, I actually really wanted a 4-inch square, but they only have a 3 7/8, so I'm going to go for that one. Okay, so I'm going to put my magnetic board down first, then my acrylic plate, then my piece of cardstock, making sure it's the correct way round because I want my die in a specific place. Then I'm going to put my die down like so, so I want that kind of in the corner, and my magnetic plate will hold that in position. Acrylic plate over the top, and then winding it through, and that lovely cracking sound. There we go. So then we're going to take the mat off, my die, and then I need this piece, which is my lovely square, and then we don't need these two. So we've got a nice window in our card here. Okay, so I also cut out another piece to go on the back here, and I just cut it marginally in so that it would create like a matte layered effect. So that will go in there, and that will cover up our acetate so that you don't see those gluey edges, etc., and it will look a lot nicer and neater in there. Okay, so we need to now mark on our acetate just very lightly where our edges will be, so that we can then stamp on it on those corners like so. On the acetate, which is our front window, I want to put this little fairy here that's sitting on the toadstool, and so I want it at the bottom of my line here so that it sits. Now because we've got a little bit of movement on our acetate, it's not too, you know, I don't have to be absolute 100% perfect, because once I've stamped it, we've got a little bit of movement. Now I can go slightly lower but not higher probably. Okay, so then let's just ink up our stamp. Okay, and then my little line is about, actually I'll tell you what I'll do, let's put that over so it's like that, and that will give me a bit more of a guide as well as to the edges and everything. Okay, now I think I better just put a bit of ink on that because I've messed about for a minute, so just making sure it's quite a warm muggy day, so okay, about there I think. Cool. It's nerve-wracking. Okay, that come out. It's come out okay, I think. It is a fiddle to do, I have to say. I practiced a few as well beforehand, and it is a bit of a pain. You have to sort of press sort of in the middle to get the colour to set down on there, but not too hard because otherwise it slides. So it might be worth having a few pieces on hand. Don't just have your one piece if you have, because I think that might not work. Okay, so we're going to put that to one side anyway now, because let that dry, because we've finished with that piece for the moment. And I'm going to now use my white piece here. So I want for that these little mushroom houses. It's all part of the same sort of fairy collection. Okay, now because we're going to be stamping onto cardstock, I'm just going to use my archival ink for that, because it will be perfectly good. Okay, and then by using the black, the brown behind, I can just see hopefully the white. Okay, and really smush it down so we get a really solid stamp. There we go, and then I want to just do another one just on this end just to fill that gap. Like so, and there we go, so that's our little row of houses. So now I want to use these two little tiny fairies from this set. So I'm using all the different sets here, and I'm just going to have to be careful because they're on a square, so I need to make sure that I only ink up my little fairies because that's all I want. Okay, so again using my archival ink, I'm just going to very carefully just with the corner, and if you had a pen you could do it with that, it might be, and then take that and stamp that down. There we go. So there's our two little fairies there. Okay, so I've got some butterflies. Now they came in this kind of circle, but I'm only going to ink up again just one or two of them. There we go. So then I'm just going to about there. So I added a couple more here and here, so we've got a total of 3 little butterflies, and I think that just adds that little bit of extra something to it. So now I want to just add a little bit of stickles to my card, just to give it a bit of fairy shimmer, and then that can be drying while I'm getting the rest of it all sorted. So just pop that around. And on here, just dabbing it around really. I'm not trying to be specific, I just want it to look a little bit shimmery. Just in the background. And obviously on our fairy wings, we need to add a little bit of extra on there. Okay, and this is just our crystal stickles, so that will be drying. You can just hopefully catch that, and then all over on the paper and then on the little houses as well. So we'll let that dry, and I'm just thinking whether I want to put any stickles on my actual acetate as well. I think I wouldn't mind putting just a little bit on the fairy wings here, just very lightly. But not too much, I just want a little gesture of it, nothing too heavy. So again, we'll let those all dry. Just one more stamping thing before we put our inks away. I want to put my sentiment on my card here. So just getting my ink, inking up, and then popping that down just about here, I think. No, up in this bit. So that will be our sentiment ready. So all these pieces are going to get drying while we just clear up, ready to put the card together. Okay, so that's all dry now, so we're going to just put the card together. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is stick this piece down, because then we can get that aligned by using the hole. I can sort of pop my fingers through the hole. If I put the acetate in first, I won't be able to take advantage of the fact that there is a hole to help me push it around and line it up. Okay, so I'm just going to use my Cosmic Shimmer glue. I love this glue. Next to my Pin and Flare, this is my favourite glue. I love it because it dries really strong, but you can still move it about and it doesn't come through the card or paper, which is always great. So I'm going to close it like that and then pop my card through the little aperture like that so that it sits nice and straight. This is looking good already. Can you see that lovely shimmer? There you go. Look at that. I'm going to get my acetate and making sure it's the right way up. I'm going to pop that in position down here like so. So I need to be sure where I'm putting the glue, so I think the best thing to do for that is to go around the edge of the actual aperture, because what I'm looking at is that the bottom of the mushroom is just over the white and that the wing is just about gonna touch. Okay, so I've got my inside card piece now to cover up basically this mess that we've created with the acetate. We don't want all that showing on the inside. I've marked here the inside so I remembered which was what, and that's that top corner, so I could remember exactly what went where. So that's going to go there, and it's going to create like a mat, which is kind of cool. So now all I need to do is put some adhesive on the back of this. So next I want to put some ribbon around, so we're just going to wrap that around like so and knot it. And then make your bunny ears, cross it over, tuck it through, get hold of the two ears and pull tight, and then pull the tail, holding the middle, pull the tail, and then tighten again, and then just cut the ends so that they're not too long, and then you've got your nice bow. And then I'm just going to get a little glue dot and pop that underneath the bow so it holds in position, And then if we pop the two together, you can see how that's coming together and how nice does that look. So effective. And then I've got my bow and my little pearls, but I've also got this little butterfly. And I just wanted to put this little chiffon butterfly in the corner here. There we go. And then lastly, I just want to put some pearls in the corners. I've got these lovely white pearls. I think I'll do it in the corners of the square rather than the corners of the card. I think that will look pretty. And we can't obviously do it in that corner because there's a butterfly, but there we go. That is our completed acetate card, and the third and last in my acetate card series. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed making this with me. I think it looks really pretty. I love the way it's come together in the end, so I hope you do too. I'd love to hear your comments, and I will see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!